What we're working with today for vocabulary is section 6.3, and the first new term we have is altitude of a triangle. And the easiest way to know this is to actually understand what altitude is. Altitude is just how tall you are, or your height, or the height of a triangle. And one thing I try and tell kids to remember is that when you go to the doctor's office and you go stand up to measure your height, they ask you to stand straight up. And the reason they ask you to do that is because you're perpendicular with the floor, and so that is your height. So an altitude is when you have a segment that is perpendicular to a side of a triangle, like this red one, that goes through the opposite angle. So one of the heights of this triangle is this red line. So again, it's perpendicular to a side and goes through the opposite angle. When you have three altitudes in a triangle, they intersect, and their point of concurrency is called the orthocenter. And so when you have three altitudes, like we have here, they intersect at the orthocenter. And the orthocenter doesn't do anything fancy. You just have to know that altitude goes with orthocenter. The next special segment we have is a median, and a median it is what it kind of sounds like. It sounds like middle, and that's what it is. The median of a triangle goes from the midpoint of one side to the opposite angle. So here's the midpoint, and it goes up to the opposite angle. So median is midpoint to opposite angle. And when you have three medians of a triangle, they are concurrent, and their point of concurrency is called the centroid. And so the centroid is where the three medians intersect. Centroids have a special rule, and what they do is they cut the median into thirds. And so this little piece down here, G to D, is 1/3 of the whole thing, and then A to G is 2/3 of the whole thing. And so it'll make more sense when we actually have numbers to look at, but you just have to know that the centroid, which is this point G here, cuts those medians into thirds. And so remember, median goes with centroid, and then altitude goes with orthocenter.